A driver will often need to be able to drive slowly, for example when in a traffic queue or urban area. This might look easy to do, but it can be difficult to achieve for a new driver until they get a good understanding of clutch control. This video will look in detail at how to control a car's clutch at low speed and then use these skills to go for a drive in a tricky urban area. We are using a diesel-engined car here, but any modern car with either a petrol or diesel engine should behave in a similar way to our car. In a modern car, the engine computer, or ECU, will automatically increase engine power as we start to move the car forward, which reduces the chance of stalling. However, older cars can be more difficult to drive, as they won't have an ECU to control its engine as smoothly and efficiently. This means that when pulling away in an older car, we will probably need to use the accelerator pedal to get extra power from the engine to reduce the chance of stalling. It is possible to move a car very slowly by just using the clutch pedal alone. We wouldn't normally pull away in traffic like this, as we can only move the car really slowly. However, this can be a useful technique for when we need to edge forward at tight junctions or when manoeuvring. We're practicing on a flat and quiet road here, so let's see how this works. We fully press the clutch pedal, select first gear, then lift our left foot really gently until we find the biting point. At this point, the clutch is just starting to connect the engine to the wheels, and this provides a little forward drive. Once the car starts to roll, we must keep our foot dead still until we reach walking pace, and then we can engage the clutch fully. Once the car is rolling, we can gently adjust the amount of clutch bite we are using to vary the car's speed. Pushing the pedal down a little will give less forward drive, or if we lift the clutch pedal up a little, this will give more forward drive. Once the car reaches about walking pace again, we should lift the clutch pedal up to fully engage first gear. We can now roll along with the engine idling or use the accelerator to increase our speed. When we need to stop the car, we must remember to push the clutch pedal down a couple of car lengths before we stop, otherwise the brakes will stop the engine as well as the wheels, making the car judder to a halt with a stall. When pulling away in traffic, we would normally use a little extra engine power. This extra power will allow us to move forward more confidently and with less chance of stalling the engine. For this technique, we need to gently press and hold the accelerator until the engine speed is just above 1000 RPM. Then, as we lift the clutch pedal up to the biting point, the car will start moving forward. Once we are up to about 10 miles per hour, we can change into second gear and keep accelerating smoothly. As we pull over again, we must remember to push the clutch down a few seconds before we stop the car to avoid stalling the engine. Let's watch that again, this time in slow motion. We select first gear, increase the engine revs, find the clutch bite, engage the clutch, and then change into second gear. This technique is especially useful when driving older cars, as it greatly reduces the chance of stalling the engine. Sometimes we might need to pull away more quickly, such as when we are joining a major road or busy roundabout. First, let's watch from inside the car. We use a little more engine revs than normal, as this extra power will allow us to use more of the clutch's biting point to accelerate the car quickly, before changing into second and third gears. Let's stop and then watch the next go in slow motion. We balance just the right amount of engine power and clutch bite, and the car is straight up to speed. If you are finding it difficult to move your car forward without stalling its engine, then it's good to understand why it's happening. Most stalls are caused by using too much of the clutch's biting point, or fully engaging the clutch before the car has reached walking pace. Our left foot needs to move very precisely to control the clutch pedal, so if you can, try keeping the heel of your left foot touching the floor and pivot your foot with your ankle. This gives more control than lifting your foot up off the floor and moving your whole leg. Let's drive to a residential area with lots of tight corners and parked cars. We will need to drive very slowly in places, so it's a great place to practice all the skills we looked at earlier. For this junction, we are rolling along at the minimum speed of second gear without pressing the accelerator pedal. The engine is at idle speed, and the car will keep rolling along on its own like this for as long as it's needed. Most cars will do this in first, second and third gears, and this can be useful when driving slowly. The next junction is very tight, so we decide to slow the car down and select first gear. This gives us more time to look for other traffic before we turn left and continue. We change back into second and continue rolling along at idle. If we need to increase our speed, we can accelerate the car as normal. But if we need to slow the car to less than the current gear's minimum speed, we will have to be careful. If we simply press the brake pedal, we will feel the engine resist the brakes, shudder a little, then stall. Instead, we should press the clutch pedal down and adjust the biting point to control the amount of drive to the wheels, just as we practiced earlier in first gear. When doing this in second gear, we need to be careful not to let the car get too slow, as it will be very easy to stall the engine when we try to speed up again. Since this next junction is very tight, we change down to first gear once more. This road is fairly flat, but it is worth remembering that the gradients we will find on other roads will affect the way the car behaves. Any downhill gradient will allow the car to roll forward more easily, so we will find it easier to get up to speed when moving away. However, any uphill gradient will make it harder for the car to get going, so we will need to be more patient when waiting for the car to move, and possibly even use a lower gear than normal to get enough power to the wheels. For these tight turns, we decide to stay in second gear and use the biting point to keep the car rolling. We need to be patient when using second gear like this, as we need to reach around 10 miles per hour before lifting the clutch pedal back up to fully engage the gear. Using the biting point like this is called slipping the clutch, and as long as we only do it for a few seconds at a time, it will not wear the car's clutch any faster than normal. Just a little further to go now. We let the car idle in second gear as we steer around these bends. It's good to keep our left foot ready to press the clutch in this situation, as if we spot a hazard and need to brake quickly, we will also need to push the clutch down to stop the engine stalling. One more careful left turn and we're back to our original road. So remember to use extra engine power when needed, keep the clutch at biting point until walking pace, adjust the biting point to vary the car's speed, and push the clutch down when stopping. If you found this video interesting, then please click our logo to subscribe to our channel, as it really helps other people find our videos. If you would like to help support this channel, then please click the Patreon link to find out about our crowdfunding campaign. Thanks for watching.